With the 28th pick in the 2001 draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Tony Parker of Racing Club Paris, France.
Earlier in our list, we made a video about Manu Ginobili, the European sensation that helped lead the San Antonio Spurs to multiple championships. In that video, I said that he, alongside their best player, Tim Duncan, and another player helped form the iconic Spurs dynasty. This other player, who was a multiple-time All-Star, a master of the floater, a Finals MVP, as well as one of the best point guards of his respective era and the best point guard in Spurs history. William Anthony Parker Jr., or as we all know him, Tony Parker, the all-NBA Frenchman, point guard of those Spurs teams, and he has one of the biggest case to be on the NBA's top 75 list. Drafted in 2001 to the Spurs with the 28th pick, TP became the starting point guard from the jump, a feat all the more impressive considering Tony was very young at the time, 19 years old to be exact. The 6'2" skinny guard showed what he can do in that rookie season and continued to do that increasingly at a higher level throughout his career. He had great handles, good passing ability, was agile and quick with his moves to the basket, with incredible change of direction speed. He had tremendous footwork and one of the best layup packages in the game. He was skilled with his finishing around the rim and crafty in the paint with some of the best spin move layup combinations we've seen. Of course, with all that being mentioned, I have to bring up his most iconic go-to move, the teardrop floater. Parker had arguably the best teardrop in NBA history, putting the ball right past 7-footers every time he got close to the basket. I mean, just right over their heads, making it look easy and impossible at the same time. He also had a nice mid-range jumper and even was an underrated defender for his size. Tony was selfless, could play well with others, and could be a reliable player down the stretch for the Spurs. During his career, the Frenchman was named to 6 All-Star teams, was first-team All-Rookie, and was a 4-time All-NBA team selection. But his stats and accolades wasn't just individual. This all showed through his time in San Antonio as part of the legendary Big Three, alongside Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan, while being coached under the great Greg Popovich. He proved his worth as he was the second best player on those teams and played a pivotal role as he helped them win 4 championships, one of which was won in his second season in the league, and the first 3 of which was won in 5 years. He constantly battled against the best guards of his time, most of which are considered some of the best guards of all time. Which leads me to why Tony Parker was left on the list. Overshadowed. Parker was overshadowed by the guards of his era. Guards like Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, Chris Paul, all of which are on the top 75 list. Not to mention, he was the second option on his team, while those guys, for the most part, were the main attraction. However, that should not take away from what Tony Parker has done. He battled against all those guys and came out on top in many of those battles. He was always in the conversation with those guys for being the best guard in the league, especially in the point guard discussion in the mid to late 2000s. Take it from some of the greatest to play the game. Kobe Bryant said Parker is one of the reasons he doesn't have more championships. Kyrie Irving said at one point, Parker was the hardest player for him to guard. LeBron said he was an incredibly smart player. He was always available and consistent for his team. He is the Spurs' all-time leader in assists and is top 5 in almost all offensive categories for them, as well as top 5 in steals. He was clutch, who made big plays down the stretch in the biggest moments and situations. He was incredibly hard to guard, and he was a winner, as seen throughout his career and peak. The peak of Tony Parker's career was the 3rd championship the Spurs won. This took place in 2007, and throughout those playoffs in 2007, TP averaged 21 points, 6 assists, shooting 48% from the field, which helped lead them into the finals, against the LeBron James-led Cleveland Cavaliers. In those finals, Tony averaged 24 points on 56% shooting, a remarkable feat which pushed the Spurs past the Cavs, sweeping them and earning Parker the Finals MVP. All in all, Parker shouldn't be overshadowed. He had one of the most iconic go-to moves in NBA history with his teardrop. He was the second best player behind Tim Duncan, a part of the legendary Spurs dynasty that won 4 championships in less than a decade and a half. He is one of the greatest Spurs of all time, including the best point guard to ever play in a Spurs uniform. And he was a Finals MVP. So, does Tony Parker have a right to be named to the NBA's top 75 list?